All righty. So, I came down to the big shop, which those of you that don't know, I've been working at my shop, and Chris Redding has taken over the big shop and doing the customer stuff down here. So, for all of those that say we don't ever finish anything and you get all up in your feelings over it for some fucking reason that I don't know, I'm going to show you what's going on down here. We got a lot of shit going on every day. So, here's a little update. You guys remember my Joe Gibbs truck that I sold to a friend of mine? And he wanted more power. So I called Rick at Trick Turbo. And now it's a twin turbo Joe Gibbs truck. Not only did we put twins on it, which I can't get over the fucking work that Rick at Trick Turbo does. I mean, when he gets done with this shit, it looks like something that could come from the factory. It's just fucking awesome. And we're pretty close on it. We just got to button up a few more things and then get it tuned, or get the tuning on it, put it on the dyno and tune it. Also, since this thing needed to handle way more power than what it had before, we put a Quick Performance 9-inch in it. Little truck ought to be a lot of fun. I know it's capable of making a lot of power. And believe it or not, he says he's thinking about selling it because he's got and I'll show you why. So you guys remember when I was building the little blue Camaro, and a lot of you got upset when I took that car all back apart, and they said, oh man, I wish you'd have finished that car. Well guys, the car's getting finished. It's just a whole different deal now. He didn't want the small block Chevrolet. He wanted an LS motor. So I told him, I'll put an LS in it for you. All I need is a supercharger off the Gibbs truck. So now it has a 5.3, which is actually a ATK motor that we got from Summit that's 450 horsepower. Pretty good running a little 0.53 to make 450 naturally aspirated. And that's what they say it'll do. And then we bolted the little Joe Gibbs supercharger on it. Called Holly up, got all the stuff from Holly, which we actually had a Holly serpentine on it, and then figured out, no you don't, because everything for this thing has to come, all the bracketry has to fit that supercharger. So we had to put factory stuff back on it. Which is not a bad deal because Charlie Copeland doesn't plan on just setting this thing around. He actually plans on driving this thing, this being his new daily driver. So, as much as it broke my heart, we cut the cage back out of it. But, to be honest, guys, it's his car now. So I wanted to do it the way he wanted to do it. Actually, I wanted to do it to where it could actually be a daily driver style car. And without a doubt, that's exactly what it's going to be. See, got the 12 bolt. We took the race brakes off of it and put street brakes on it. Pulled the chromoly subframe out. Put this really nice powder coated unit that you guys seen at one time. I actually offered up for sale, and thank God you tight asses didn't fucking buy it because it came in handy on this. It's got Detroit Speed Stage 1 kit with the shocks, tubular control arms, blah, 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 which was a perfect home for this car right here. Still got all the same stuff, the Flowmaster exhaust and all the stuff that I had put on it, but we're going to try to get this thing buttoned up here really quick because, to be perfectly honest with you, it is driving him up the fucking wall that this car is not done yet. He is dying to drive it. But you see, it had lightweight race brakes. We're putting the Wheelwood street brakes on it. That way, it don't have a braking issue. Because it is going to be a little heavier now, but I think it's still got the 700R4, the TCI 700R4. I think it'll be a fun car. And the cool thing about it, we're making this car to where you can go to O'Reilly's and buy any piece or part that you need. Every sensor, throttle position sensor. Everything will be done to where he'd go right to the parts store. A true daily driver style car that he can go anywhere and buy the parts to fix it if something happens. Put all the factory stuff on it, so it all uses factory GM stuff. It's gonna be super badass cool. May not be what you guys thought it should have been or where I was headed with it, but to be perfectly honest with you, it is truly a budget build now, more so than it was before. So we'll get back to this car. We'll come back to it, and I'll show you guys some more about it. We got the motor down in it, transmission down in it. We've just been cutting the cage out and changing some stuff around, but we're fixing to crank out on this thing hard and heavy so I can get Senior off my ass because he wants his fucking car. He wants to ride this thing. It's going to be super cool. We'll do another video on the other updates in the shop.